Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is officially peak week. It is also this one, it's episode 9 of my London Marathon training series. I am so excited to be chatting about peak week because it is officially upon us and I'm literally sitting in it at the moment. So before we get into this video, I'm gonna go to the gym. I told myself at the beginning of this year I was gonna go to the gym twice a week and we have to fulfill that or else I'm gonna lose my streak. And we are like almost at the end of March. So I've been doing this for a little bit, but let's go to the gym first. We're gonna cycle there and then I will see you afterwards. It is really not even that sunny, but the fact that the sun is still out and it's 5:30 is amazing. I know that I did this transition terribly last week, so hopefully I do it a little bit better this week. It's like 6:30, still light out, and we're cycling home, and we will finish this video when we get back. Guys, I really don't like the gym. I'm just gonna be honest. Like, it's not for me. It's for other people. It's for high rocks people and hybrid people, but it's not for me. Anyways, we are here to talk about peak week. For those that are completely brand new to distance running and marathon training, peak week is essentially when you run and reach your highest mileage within a week during your marathon training. And typically, marathon training block will last about 12 to 16 weeks. This happens a couple of weeks out from race day. So this week I will peak at 50 miles for the entire week. And I know that to some that may not sound like a lot of miles, and to others that may sound like, holy shit, how are you running that much? So for context, like, that is just, it's completely like specific to you and your individual running journey. So just because I run 50 miles for my peak week does not mean that you should. So anyways, now that we've said that, let's just get into what peak week is looking like so far. I want to start out with this past Sunday's long run because I feel like whilst this upcoming Sunday I technically will be running my longest mileage and like highest mileage long run, my session this past Sunday was still like what is and what was my toughest session in terms of my longest long run that has a really tough marathon pace session in it, if that makes sense. But stay with me. Past Sunday we went to Battersea Park and we ran a 20-mile long run. It consisted of 4 miles warm up, then we went straight into 6 miles at marathon pace. We had a mile cool down in between, 4 miles at marathon pace, a mile cool down in between, and then 2 miles at marathon pace, and then finally finished with a 2-mile cool down to finish off the run. Now if you follow me on social media, it did not go to plan, and that is okay because I technically still fulfilled like the aim of the workout, which was to run 12 miles at marathon pace. We just did it in a little bit of a different way. So I'm gonna roll the clips and then I will see you to talk about what exactly happened. Okay, breakfast once again is our same oats with peanut butter and a banana, electrolytes, coffee. I'm having these at 6:35. This is my first time trying the 160s. I'm a little bit scared because I've heard of people having stomach problems. So I'm gonna bring a 100 just in case, but I'm really hoping these work out because I would like to be able to stomach and like just have more in one. So here's hoping. And we're gonna bring the water and hide it somewhere, but that is going to be the choice. Happy Sunday. We're out for our Sunday long run. This will actually be my longest long run with marathon pace. We're running longer next week here, but there's no marathon pace. I can't hear me. It's very windy, but we're doing a 4-mile warm up now. And we're going to do 6 miles at marathon pace, then a mile rest, 4 miles at marathon pace, a mile rest, 2 miles at marathon pace, and then a 2-mile cool down. But as you can see, very windy. So let's go. For 6:10, I will stick stats on the screen, but coach wanted me to stay between 7:50 and 8 just to ease into these paces. Okay, last set and a half did not go to plan. I basically ended up doing 2 6-mile sets back to back because I messed up something on my watch, but it's okay, we got it done. Coach wanted us to sit between 7:50 to 8 more so to feel more comfortable at marathon pace, which we did, so positive all around. Okay, only ended up having about 1.5 of the 160 gels and low-key threw up a little bit in the back of my throat twice. So yeah, this session definitely, I mean, for one, like the watch malfunction was completely my own fault because there were like dogs running around off lead, and I just don't want to run into dogs. I don't want dogs to run into me. So I paused my watch because there were quite a few. And when you do pause your Coros watch, and if you scroll to like the next option, if you've inputted a workout, it actually will just put you into the next portion of the workout that you've programmed in. So essentially, like basically did not have me finish my 4th marathon pace mile of my 2nd set, and so it put me straight into the rest. I was like, well, no, I'm gonna finish that. But then in the end, I just ended up doing like basically a 2nd set of 6 miles at marathon pace. Don't ask me how. I don't know how the math worked out. And then I just ended with a 3-mile cool down. So the stats look all over the place. I'll put them on the screen here. And in the end, like when I spoke to my coach about it, it was still a completely solid session, and we were super proud and happy with it. I was still able to hit paces. And in terms of the actual paces itself, we weren't actually aiming for that 740 to 750 pace because my coach wanted me to aim more for 750 to 8. It's because she knows that at this point is like something that I feel confident and strong in, and I'm able to hold, and like it's not something that I feel like I'm necessarily like pushing myself too much. And I think the aim of this session was to really just come out feeling strong, and that's exactly how I felt. I can tell you, after the first 6 miles, after that first set, I genuinely felt like I could keep going for longer. I also was trialing the Maurten 160s. We're gonna talk about that in a second after I talk about this workout. I ended up just doing like 2 sets of 6 miles at marathon pace and hit that basically range that she was aiming for. You can see in the splits. We were super happy with that session. And now in terms of fueling, was trialing the Maurten 160s as I shared last week. So did bring 2 Maurten 160s with me, and then 1 Maurten 100 just as like an emergency, just in case my stomach just like completely hated the 160s. And so I took the first one and it was fine. And I went to take the second one and I only finished about half. And I'm not gonna lie, guys, I did like a little baby throw up in the back of my mouth twice during the entire session. So like I didn't like fully vomit, but like I kind of vomited in the back of my throat. And I feel like there are a lot of things that us runners like go through during runs, and that is just like not a very nice thing. Whether or not I will actually use them, jury's still out. I feel like I want to keep practicing fueling, obviously, but to me, I just kind of feel like being able to take fewer gels, but like still having like a really high amount of carbohydrates and calories per gel would be so ideal. But like I still need to keep testing that out just to see how that's gonna work. So we're gonna keep testing that out. Like I said, that was like my toughest long run session that I will do of this block. But then when you look at this weekend, I'm doing my like longest long run, which is 22 miles. But this run has absolutely no marathon pace in it. And so there's like a difference between the two, but I just feel like I'm at the moment like within this week of doing like 2 really big sessions. And so yeah, I'm really happy and pleased with this past Sunday session, and so really happy to have that ticked off. I also came away from it feeling so good and so like okay, which is like not always the case for me post long run. And so yeah, it was just all around a good long run. Now yesterday we did our track session, and this was 6 by a kilometer. It was warm. The sun has decided to make an appearance in the UK this week, and so the top has been coming off more and more. I mean, I'm happy because it means that spring is literally around the corner. But this kind of sunshine on Tuesday was like literally like the sun beating down on me. We're also lawnmowers like cutting the grass around the track, so it was just like a very interesting session. Still got it done. It still felt really good. I'll cue the clips and we will just like jump into those clips, and then I will break down the session. All right, happy track Tuesday. There are a lot of pigeons. We are doing the 2-mile warm up. I'm gonna do 6 by a K, aiming for 7-minute pace and a 2-mile cool down, and that's the workout. So long. First 3, 650, 646, 650. I need to slow down. Okay, we sort of fell off for the last few. I forgot what number 4 was, but 5 was 711, and 6 was 709, but that's okay. It is warm, and the sun's really beating down, and we've not had sun in a while, so still a good workout, and we'll come back in next week. Yeah, all in all, I came away from this feeling really good. Essentially, the workout itself was a 2-mile warm-up. Then we went into 6 times 1 kilometer at around a 7-minute pace. Now, if you look at like the first 3, kilometers, I really went out a little bit too fast, which I feel like is just the case for me, and I really need to practice this ahead of marathon day because I essentially want to do the opposite of that on marathon day. But otherwise, I feel like the paces were all right. I think that I sort of knew that the last 2 kilometers were going to be toughest in terms of like looking at all 6, plus the heat just started to really come down. And yeah, I think I was just happy to have like pulled myself through it and just like get through it. In the end, I am quite happy with the paces. It was a really good session and I just felt really solid. I will also say, coming off of my video from last week where I started to incorporate more oats into some of my longer run sessions, I did do oats before this interval session, and I felt like that was really good in terms of like just like recognizing that a lot of my interval sessions now are getting into like the 9 and 10 mile range. So like recognizing that like I am going to need more fuel for that sort of a session. So I really feel like that sustained me well, and I feel like I'm gonna start like incorporating more oats because I've started small and I want to slowly build up because I don't want to like shock my stomach. And, like, not to be like too TMI, but like I'm not gonna lie, like sometimes I say sometimes, this is like every time if you ask Gabriel, like every time I have this breakfast of like oats, banana, peanut butter, coffee, electrolytes, I kid you not, I go to the bathroom 3 times before I go out the door. Like, this has happened on multiple occasions and I don't know what it is. Like, but on one hand you're like, you're all cleared out, like it's all good. On the other hand, it's like, wow, that is my stomach is like working overtime. Just to kind of like share, because I did see a comment from last week just around like how my portions did look quite small for oats. I am trying to like kind of work them in slowly and like ramp them up like as I kind of like incorporate them more and more into my runs, if that makes sense. But yeah, essentially I feel like that was a really solid track session. I was really happy with that. And now between now and Sunday, I'm literally just doing easy runs and we're taking them super easy paced. Like I said, I'm trying to do still my 2 gym sessions a week. I do swim here and there, but not too much. And I'm just really looking forward to it. I definitely want to get one more physio session in before the big day just to do some like last minute acupuncture. But I am looking forward to this Sunday because like I said, it's going to be my longest run of the entire block, but I'm also really happy to not be doing a long run at marathon pace. I'm not gonna lie, I just feel like it'll be a nice break. And I am also gonna be joining Tracksmith for the first time for a long run, which I've never done. I just feel like this sort of a long run will be really nice in good company, and so I'm really looking forward to doing that. And we're also doing a run specifically this Sunday is doing a preview of the London Marathon route, which is really exciting. So I'm really excited and I feel like it'll really help me like get in the zone, and I'm sure I'll get a little bit emotional because I am me and I am emotional. So I am really looking forward to that. But otherwise, I feel like that kind of wraps up the, I guess, like discussion that I wanted to share in terms of like peak week and like what I'm doing this week. But past Monday, if you follow me on social media, I actually shared a video just around like weight gain during marathon training. And I feel like this just like kind of continues the conversation of like what I've been sharing a whole lot here on YouTube about just like fueling and just like practicing working more fuel in as and when I can. I feel like something that we don't talk about enough, and I don't know how much it's talked about on YouTube, just like the reality of marathon training that is kind of like a harsh sort of like reality to realize, is that you will gain weight during marathon training, and it's just not something that you can work around. If you are doing the opposite and you're losing weight during marathon training, that is not a good sign. And the way that I worded this video is that like basically like marathon training is something that is like so niche. I think that like when you're in the running community, it feels like everyone around you is doing it. Like you always see that statistic of like 1% or less than 1% of the world's population will run a marathon in their lifetime. And then for those of us like you and me that go on to run like more marathons, like that percentage just like shrinks more and more. And something that like it took me a couple of rounds of marathon training to realize and learn is like you need to fuel your body so much more than you think you do for marathon training, because the like type of training and the high endurance training that you're doing requires so much more fuel. And I'm gonna tell you that the moment that I started fueling my body properly and just like encouraging my body to take on more carbs and just like eating more carbohydrates as and where I can in my diet, I just feel like I felt so much better. And not only am I running, but just all around like day to day, I just felt so much more like clear-minded, if that makes sense, and just like less fogginess and just like more alertness. And I just feel a lot better as a person and a human being. And I feel like it's really easy during marathon training to feel really like lethargic and tired all the time because you're doing so much training. But marathon training goes beyond like the running, it's all of the rest, it's the recovery, it's your fueling. There are so many different elements that feed into your ability to train well and run well on race day. So I just think that this is such an important topic, and I think something that's really sad that you often see during marathon training is other runners who are either getting injured and getting stress fractures, or, you know, under fueling and just like not, you know, either they start to see like irregular periods or like they just lose their period completely. Like that is not normal to see in marathon training, and that was something that I experienced when I was diagnosed as anorexic over 10 years ago. And so I just always encourage people like to try and remind yourself of like your why. Like, why are you training for a marathon? Because it shouldn't be to lose weight, because you're not going to lose weight. It's just not gonna happen. Like the math of marathon training, like it just does not work out that way. And so I encourage you, if this is something that you're struggling with, to either like console your coach, which is like something that I've done and is going to be in an episode that I released this week with my coach. We're chatting all things fueling, under fueling, just the importance of rest and recovery. So I'll link that in the description box of this video. But I think that if you are like sitting in that boat of just like, you don't know where you're at with training, and like maybe training is not going well, maybe, you know, you're not having regular periods anymore, or you're feeling really anxious about like fueling, I would highly recommend that you go and speak to a professional. And I feel like in those situations, it's just best to get like professional help and just get like an outsider's perspective, but someone with a professional background. And yeah, I just feel very passionate about this topic because I think that for those of us with an eating disorder background, I just feel like we will struggle just a little bit more. I know that there are so many people who have struggled with their relationship with food, but like it's such a different like ballpark when like you have like literally gone through an eating disorder and like had to go through recovery, had to go through so many hospital visits and stuff. But like having the knowledge of like what happens when you underfuel and what happens to your body, and like trying to change that like rhetoric and change that like, I guess, like dynamic, and just like encourage yourself to have more fuel is so important. But I will link that video in the description box of this video. My camera is running out of battery, so I'm gonna wrap up this video, but I want to say thank you so much for watching this video. If you like the video, make sure to leave a like and comment below if there are any videos that you want to see from me in these last few weeks ahead of London Marathon. If you aren't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. I come out with weekly YouTube videos every single week. Make sure to listen to the podcast, follow me on socials, and yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing to bring you more episodes. And I will see you next week for episode 10 of my training series. Bye!